everyone, and welcome back to Arguably Speaking. I'm Kiera,
I'm Sarah.
and we're so happy you're here for our 28th episode. Woo! It's not really a specific milestone, but it feels worth
Yeah,
being excited for.
things happen when you're 28.
Yeah.
A lot of people freak out about trying to find a spouse.
Oh, great.
I don't know. Well, because some people unrealistically put an expectation on themselves to be married by 30
Yeah,
and
that's
want
true.
a year-long engagement. So,
Yeah.
28's the year to freak out if you're one to freak.
You should be happy if you're 28. You're still young, you're still fun, and you've got so much life left to go.
Age is just a number. Makes it sound like I think you're really old. I don't think you're that old.
Sarah does think anyone that's older than her is really old. She reminds me of it every day. Mind you, I'm like less than a year older than her.
I just have so much youth in me. I feel so spry.
You're so spry. Just like a spring chicken.
Speaking of spring, it's been beautiful here.
Yes, today was actually like slightly cloudy, and I was like,
Mm,
why? But this past weekend,
it's really, really nice.
super
Yeah.
sunny and warm, and it feels like summer.
It really does. I have gotten significantly more tan in the past, like, I don't know, we'll say 10 to 12 days.
Nice.
And it's like noticeable now. I'll like be changing clothes and I'll be like, wow, my stomach significantly paler than my arm, which is odd because I feel like I haven't gotten burnt,
Mmm.
you know?
I think the UV index is significantly lower up here,
Mm.
just on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
but honestly, that's just all speculation. I will say I was outside for a prolonged period of time and I sweat for the first time just like sitting,
Wow. Yeah.
Because like doing active things you sweat obviously, but I
Yeah.
was just sitting and I was like,
What?
it's warm here.
Huh.
It's warm.
I am hot.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
But speaking of being outside, we can
Yeah.
talk about our weekend endeavors.
For sure. Oh my
Do you want
gosh,
to
what
work
did you
forward,
do?
backwards? I think I'll work backwards.
Backwards sounds good to me too.
Yeah, because then I can remember what I did most recently. Um, on Sunday was the day that I sat outside for a really long time because I went to brunch with some friends and we went to a place that was completely plant-based, which was pretty good. Like all of the food tasted good, which was awesome.
Nice.
The upsetting part was that all of the portion sizes were really small for how expensive stuff was. And we're like, okay, yeah, this is fancy and like does taste good, but why am I paying so much money?
And still hungry.
And still kind of hungry.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful day. We got all dressed up in our little brunch outfits. Our theme was blown away by the spring breeze.
Wow. I did not realize that had a theme.
Well, it was funny how it came up. We were all talking together and we're like, we should all dress up a little, like florals or something. And they're like, well, we should have a fun theme. Like what? And then it was kind of a joke.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like real, but
That's super
we did
funny.
all seem like very breezy, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Blown away by the spring breeze.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny.
So that was Sunday, and then I did a bunch of work. I went to school on Sunday because
Nice.
gotta work all the days of the week. And then I also did a game night because I don't know why. I was like, sure, let's do this. And it did end up being really fun, but I was like, wow, you should get more sleep, Kira. Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
But that was my Sunday.
Nice.
Pretty eventful
That
Sunday.
is a very eventful Sunday. I myself also had an eventful Sunday. I was supposed to have a frisbee game, and if you're on my frisbee team, thank you so much for listening. You're amazing. I
Confession.
I could not, I don't know. I needed to have a Sarah day a little bit on Sunday. So I said that I wasn't feeling the best and maybe we'll claim it as a mental health day question mark.
Yeah.
I
Feelings?
definitely probably could have run around, but I didn't want to because I wanted to take myself out on a date. And so I did.
Yeah, where
So
did you go? What
I
did
curled
you
my
do?
hair, I wore lipstick, I wore dinosaur earrings, I put on an outfit just for me, and I went to Alki Beach.
Oh, so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So
It was
pretty.
really
Was it
pretty.
busy?
Yeah, well, a little bit of both because I ended up being at the beach right around noonish, because I had gone to the West Seattle Farmers Market first.
Oh, nice.
Farmers
I've never
Market was
been
busy.
there.
It's mostly food,
Yeah.
I will say. It is like more of a standard like farmers market,
Yeah.
vegetables, etc. I was kind of looking to get something to eat while I was walking around there,
Mm,
but I didn't really see anything that was like fully pulling me in. If that makes sense. So I just opted to wait until I got lunch later. But
totally.
yeah, I walked around an antique store. Okay, my outfit was giving two things. One, that I looked like I was at least 25, and two, that I could probably work in an antique store because someone in the antique store stopped me and was like, "Oh my gosh, have you seen like I don't know, insert name here. Your coworker with the short gray hair." And I was like, I
Coworker.
don't work here, I'm sorry, but I hope you find her. Bye. But it was cute because I was like, I don't know, the other people that I did see that did work there were also cute. So I was
You're
like,
like nice.
I
I
fit.
feel complimented, not
Mm.
insulted.
Yeah, no,
Because
for
sometimes,
sure.
like, if they walk up to you and you're like in a Target or a Walmart, you're
Right.
like, what?
Sorry, I just accidentally wore a red shirt and khakis to the
Yeah,
Target.
exactly.
Like, my bad.
Exactly. You're like, shoot, this was not the outfit today.
No, literally. Oh, so good. But yeah, so that was super fun. I also walked around like a couple of different little shops and then went like down and around to Alki Beach. So I got to see a lot of West Seattle in my day, which was fun. And then, yeah, I have decided that the best way to engage with Seattle people out in the wild is to pretend that I'm not living here full time and that I'm just
Um,
visiting, right? Because I was like, I want a recommendation on where to eat lunch, but Seattle people don't really engage with people outside of their group.
uh,
You know? So I
yeah.
was like, okay, because this woman was walking by with like her fam bam and stuff, and her family wanted to go down and play on the rocks, and she was like, I'll just stay here and stretch or whatever. And I was like, you can sit next to me if you want, like, because there was only one bench. I was there, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
and there's
blah.
like ample space.
She was like, "Oh no, I'm fine. I'd rather stand." And I was like, "Are you from the area?" And she goes, "Yes." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm visiting. I would like to find, a place to get lunch." And she gave me like three different restaurant recommendations, and then she also told me that I really needed to check out a troll in a nearby garden.
Yes, the trolls are a big thing.
Okay, there you go. And she gave me two other recommendations, and it was just like she was so excited to share the city with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I should do this all the
And
time.
just pretend I don't live here.
Literally, because like
That's funny.
people want you to like the place that they live in,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, and if you're just some random who's like, "Hey, I've been here for a while, but I want to stop and ask you a question."
Yeah, it's more of like out of the blue. I feel like you
Right.
have like your excuse and like you have your driving call to action.
Right.
You're like,
Yes.
I have a reason for you to respond to me,
Right.
and you feel somewhat obligated to do so because I am lacking information.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and you're also being like a representative of your city in some
Hmm.
ways.
Yeah.
So, hack for the tourists out there and also for the people living in a place that they haven't explored very much.
Hmm.
So, there you are.
Yeah, but still like kind of you've
Yeah.
been here for a while. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you're like, I haven't explored everywhere. I definitely haven't
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think everyone gets pretty comfortable in the space that they live in. So like you don't see all of your city when you're busy living in it,
Yeah.
You're going to work. You're going to the restaurant that you know is already good, you know?
Exactly. And you wait for your friends to come to do the touristy things.
Exactly. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. And your friends usually want to do the same touristy thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you do the same touristy things like a couple times, which is fine. But that sounds like such a good
It was
day.
really great. It
Yeah.
was totally great. I came back, I bussed everywhere, which wouldn't have been something that someone else would be willing to do with me, but since it was just a me date, I was like chillin'. I listened to a book on tape. I had a great time. But yeah, then I came back. I went to Bella's coffee shop with some roommate and friends, and then Bella and I and some of her coworkers went out to dinner.
So
So,
wonderful.
yeah, it was a huge, wonderful, great day.
That
So,
sounds
yeah.
super pleasant. Speaking of books, I've been reading a book, well, audiobooking a book
Nice.
called Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I think that's how her like name is pronounced. If
Mm,
not, I'm sorry in
okay.
advance. But it's really good. It's very like poetic, but still like mystery, like
Okay.
not mystery, mystical. Like there's
Nice.
still like some fantasy elements of it. I feel like it's written really well, or maybe just the audiobook person's really good, but it had an amazing review on all of the everythings,
Yeah.
and I've really been enjoying it. I've listened to like almost half of it in
Nice.
a weekend,
Very
like
nice.
from Friday to Monday. So I guess it's been
Okay.
4 days, but like a long weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
It's been wonderful.
Wow, fun. Did you get it from the library?
No, I have my like Audible every month gives
Oh,
us like a credit. And so I can download them and they've just been stacking up for like years. So
nice.
we got a lot of credits in there. I don't know how we have them.
That's cool.
My mom is probably paying for it unbeknownst to her. Thank you,
Okay.
mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
No, that's super funny. Yeah, when I talked with Kiera previously, I was listening to Fourth Wing,
Oh yeah.
which everybody and their brother knows about nowadays. It's the latest
Young
young
adults
adults
fantasy.
fantasy, romance, etc. And I was like, it is available at the library. I'll listen to it. Maybe I'll be able to join in some conversations with the kids in the pop culture slash just my friends who have read the book. And I could not make it through.
Wow. Did you return it already?
Yeah. So
Nice.
I returned that one. I got a different book, which is pretty funny because it was something that, because I was complaining about Fourth Wing to Matthew, our roommate, who will be a guest on the pod.
We're holding you to it, Matthew.
It's true, you know. Anyways, he downloaded a book for me that he found, and then I was explaining the like beginning 3 sentences of plot that I had gotten through, more than that, but that's an exaggeration, to Bella, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I was gonna recommend something by this author." So it's a absolutely incredible thing or something like that. It's by Hank Green.
Oh, and yeah, I know exactly what series you're talking about.
Yeah.
And there's it's a duology. It's like there's a second book to it that's in the same world.
Oh, cool.
It's like why can't I remember it? It's got a very pop art cover
Yeah.
that's like orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
I know exactly what you're talking
Totally.
about.
Yeah.
Well, let me know if it's really
Yeah.
good and
I
if you
mean,
finish it.
I'm
Like,
enjoying it. I've been listening to a lot more of it than I had gotten through Fourth Wing. So
mm-hmm.
I
That's
will
good.
say, yeah, I think
It's already a win.
I'm mildly over a third of a way through.
Cool.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Well, finishing up our weekend stuff.
please.
On Saturday I had a semi-eventful day. It was kind of interesting because I got my hair cut, which you would think would not be a notable thing to happen, right? Everyone gets their hair cut. I usually get my hair cut once per year. And I get a really big chop. I cut like between 8 and 12 inches off. My hair grows really fast. And then I get the ends lightened up and I go about my life. And it's fresh and nice for spring and summer. But I usually go to like the Aveda salons because they're cheaper. You're getting it done by students, and then there's an instructor there. I personally have always had really good experiences, which I know is not everybody's experience. But because nothing horrible has happened yet, I keep going because it's way cheaper than going to a salon. And this girl does not have a full time job yet, so we need cheap. I'm used to it taking between 5 and 7 hours, which is a big time investment. So I was smart. I was like, I'm bringing food. I brought breakfast and lunch because my appointment started at 9:30. But it wasn't a normal appointment, especially at an Aveda salon, which is always like a little not normal. I walk in at 9:20. I'm a bit early for the appointment, which is great. And I'm like, "Hey, I'm here for this." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, your stylist is just running a little bit late. It'll be like 15 minutes after 9:30, around 9:45 before we can get you in. Just sit down, get comfortable." I'm like, "Great. That sounds wonderful. I can do this. I can watch all the students. It's kind of fun to watch them in their little stations." And then there's this one girl who is doing makeup and like a hairdo. Not they do more than just like colors and cuts for hair. They also do like cosmetology and the whole lot. And this poor girl in the chair was not getting what she wanted, it seemed like, from the makeup and the hair. The hairstyle and the makeup didn't seem like it turned out super well, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, thanks.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, I kind of hope this isn't my girl. This hairstylist seems really stressed and is just getting right off of doing somebody else's like hair and won't have a break. Unfortunately, it was, and she was just this young 19-year-old girl who was very clearly like frazzled. So I was like, please calm down, like, take your time. I'm in no rush. I already know this is gonna take forever. I'm used to it taking this long. And I don't think she was ready for it to take so long.
Mm.
But essentially, throughout the whole appointment, she kept being like, so I'm thinking like 10 more minutes for the color to sit. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. This is not my
I'm
this
not
is
meant to be thinking
this is
here.
not my job. The instructor came over a lot of times and like helped her out and was doing things the correct way, showing her how to do things, which was also fine, but she seemed very frazzled and like was kind of pulling hair pretty roughly, dropping some bleach and some color on me, and I was like, oof. I think around hour like 4 or 5, she was getting really stressed because there was another client after me that she was supposed to have,
Oh,
and felt even worse about having to possibly cancel on them. Thankfully, that client canceled.
that's good.
So then the stress went down, but I was there until almost 4 p.m.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So like 9:30 to almost 4 is about
That's so long.
6.5 hours that
Yeah.
I was there. Not a short day at all. And I just like didn't have the best experience. I've sat in salons for longer. Like my longest appointment has been 8 hours.
Wow.
Longest hair appointment. It
Yeah.
was a rough time, and I didn't bring food that time. But she wasn't ready for it to be that long. She also wasn't ready to like I think deal with my hair type because it's so dark and it takes so
Mm.
long to lift bleach wise. And so it was a little rough for her. Long story short, I hope she feels less stressed and her later clients were easier going on her. But that was my Saturday.
Yeah.
Everyone kept being like, "Your whole Saturday is for your haircut?" What? And I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, it will be. But after that, I went on a little date to Carkeek Park, which is
Yes.
beautiful, and the sun was setting, and like it was the dappled light was so nice. It was like a mini little walk hike, and it wasn't a hike. It was just a nature walk, and then you got the shoreline and the sunset, and it was gorgeous. So
Beautiful.
highly recommend that we go tide pooling there because there's a lot
Oh,
of great tide pools
okay.
there. I just didn't go at low tide, but still,
Nice.
future.
I still have not been tide pooling, and I would like to go before I am no longer here.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's on
summer
my
is
list.
great for tide pooling too.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Amazing. Yeah, my Saturday, I drove you to your hair thing,
Yes, thank you so
which was great. And then I was like, I am going to make something because I haven't sewn in a long time, or I hadn't sewn in a long time. So I pre-washed some fabric, pre-dried some fabric. While my fabric was drying, Matthew and I rode our bikes to go throw, which was pretty fun. I have
the
not
frizz
ridden my bike a lot around here because we live
hills
on a hill uphill both ways. For our house, it feels like.
because it's true.
It
It
really
doesn't
just
just
is.
feel like that. It is.
It yeah, no, it no matter where you go, you're gonna be going up a hill. So yeah, I didn't die. I was not left behind. But I was like, wow, I'm putting in some effort here. So that was that was good, I think. And then yeah, I spent the rest of Saturday making a shirt. I really want to have like a go-to, it fits me button-up shirt pattern. And I think I found it. I kind of want to make some adjustments to the collar because the collar looks a little doofy. I'm
Aw.
working on it. I'm working on it. So I think it looks better. I changed the shape of it a little bit so it was a little less like 70s long points and a little more modern short point on the collars and I shortened up the sleeves and stuff. So I'm getting a little daring in my adjustments.
That's so fun though. I
Yeah,
feel like that's
yeah.
the joy of like being able to make your own clothes is that you can do all of those
Right.
customizations,
Yeah,
right?
it's like exactly how I want it, you know. So
Yeah.
that's exciting. I'm a little less fearful in going and trying to do that. But yeah, so that was my Saturday day, and then Saturday night I watched Newsies for the first time.
Nice.
So that was really fun. I had never seen it before. Oh my gosh, all of the boys in that movie are
Does
adorable.
the movie have Jeremy Jordan in it?
I don't know names very well.
Okay.
What else has Jeremy Jordan done?
Well, he's really known for Newsies.
Okay, then
But it could be
probably.
Newsies on Broadway. I don't
Okay.
remember. I'll look it up.
They were all such
Jeremy
cutie.
Jordan is just
If you ever want to
beautiful.
see some
Beautiful.
cuties, watch that movie. Also, I did cry a little bit at the end. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I got a little emotional.
We need to cry.
I
We
was
need
like,
to cry.
because he was gonna leave. He was gonna leave and he was gonna do his thing. I don't want to. Never
No
mind.
spoils.
No
No
spoilers.
spoilers.
I'm so good at spoiling movies.
Oh,
That's one of my
it's a
skills.
talent. Put that on the resume.
I can just blurt out everything that you didn't want to know. But yeah, so it was a really lovely Saturday.
Lovely weekend for
It
both of
was
us.
all together.
Nice.
We didn't spend much time together,
I
but we had
know.
both very good weekends regardless.
What happened on Friday? Do we remember? I don't really remember.
I don't think anything
Oh,
happened
I
on
saw one of
Friday.
my friends and I had a craft night on Friday.
You did. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because you thought I was gonna have frisbee, but I didn't
I
have
know.
frisbee.
I mind that you always have frisbee now.
That's fair.
It's so
I
confusing.
did for a second always did have frisbee, but I have had less frisbee lately because I've stopped volunteering to do frisbee for other people as much.
Yeah. Or and at least this week it feels like there has been less frisbee specifically.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
But anyways,
all good
that was
things.
kind of our kind of amazing weekends.
Yeah,
Our kind of
totally.
fun, amazing weekends.
It's awesome what you
And
can do when the sun is up later.
your energy is just so much
So
higher.
much
Like you're like
energy.
the sun is up, I am
It's
up.
warm. You can be outside for long periods of time without being like, ooh, in
Ooh.
terms of like wetness or coldness,
Mhm.
So it's very good.
Yeah. And it can be rainy as it wants throughout the week when we're working.
It's true. I'm just when you said it was rainy today, I was like, huh,
I
I
didn't even notice.
did not even see because I live in a
Small building.
hole in the center of a building with no windows. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
brother.
I am really lucky that my office has a great view.
That's really good.
And I'm right by a window, but I'm also in an office, so I'm still separated from nature.
There you are.
Um, in other news, we can move on to our topic of this week.
Heck yeah.
So, we were trying to think of great ideas, and we were thinking, what if we had $1 million idea?
Wow, that was a great segue.
Thanks.
Amazing.
And what would that be? So I think the concept of $1 million idea is pretty well known, but just in case you don't know, I'll explain. $1 million idea is something that's like novel that hasn't necessarily been invented yet, but could like improve life. Sometimes it's in a really small way, and sometimes it's in a really big way. Like for example, when it was created, $1 million idea might have been a doorstop. How nice is it to
Hmm,
be able to prop your door open,
true.
right? Another version of this is like Amazon. So like Amazon is $1 million idea because how great is it to have packages delivered directly to your doorstep?
Yeah.
So it can be kind of in the form of services or actual inventions, but basically we've had tons of $1 million ideas that make up our society today, at least in America,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously in other countries, even though we're significantly less well versed in that.
True.
But this week's topic is all about what you would do to make life a little bit better.
Nice.
$1 million ideas, like, but something that's specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's a great segue. I will also add in a little thing that my mother would always say is that if you have a really good idea, you can't speak it into the world or else someone else will hear you, right?
Yeah.
Quote unquote, and they'll do it first.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think in a lot of ways we're risking it for the biscuit by sharing our $1 million ideas with the world because the world listens to the pod. But
Obviously.
also, some of these ideas that I have rolling around in the back of my noggin, I wouldn't mind if someone stole them and made them happen
Yeah.
because then I would be able to use it.
Exactly. And for me personally, at the moment, I might not have the funding sources or the resources
So
available
true.
to make these $1 million ideas exist.
Right.
But if you do, go for it. Say you got your idea from us. If you really want to,
Right.
we're always open for royalties.
Totally. Totally.
Just let us know. Just let us know. We're open for consultations,
Give a
all
shout.
that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can kind of just open it up if there's specific general categories that we want to do.
Okay.
We can do that too. I don't know what's gonna be easiest, or if you have something that popped into your head immediately that you're like, wait, I've been thinking about this one.
I've been thinking about this one because this was kind of what popped into my head when we were talking originally. Because I had said for an idea, I was trying to think of different things. And of course, I was looking at my phone and it was like, what if we were to create an app?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we got the million
Yeah,
dollar idea
totally.
situation. And when I was in high school, I always thought that it would be so amazing if I had an app that would read sheet music for me.
Hmm.
And I feel like maybe it even does exist somewhere out there now because obviously I spoke it into the world while I was in high school.
Yeah,
But
so obviously.
it would just be so useful. And I know there are going to be people out there who say, "Hey, we can't let AI read sheet music for
Mm,
us because none of us are going to be able to read sheet music anymore." And to that I say, it's a learning tool,
yeah.
okay? Like,
AI
sure,
is supposed to be a supplement.
right. There's gonna be people who will only try and play things by ear if there's something that will read sheet music for them. But if you want to get any amount of skill, you do, like, you
You have
will,
to learn the craft.
right, you'll get that skill, but there might be, just a little more help along the way. Because it's really hard to read different rhythms sometimes
Yeah.
you know and that was the thing that I struggled the most with is like what does this like rhythm sound like because it's relatively easy enough to write in the notes and things like that.
Yeah, because you can kind of remember the letters in the order that they go
Exactly.
in.
Yeah, like the placement, but it's really tough when you get in there and you're anything outside of eighth notes and quarter notes and combinations therein. You have the little dots that add fractions in there. It's tough. It's tough stuff. So,
Note that I struggled a lot reading sheet music. I could
it's
do
hard.
it like for the basic stuff, but it is hard and it's a big learning curve for anyone.
Right. I would
So
agree.
that's why they have whole classes on it.
It's so true. It's so true. So, I think that would be really, really cool. And
Yeah.
that's one of my $1 million ideas is figuring out how to have some sort of visual scanny ready thingy.
Yeah. Speaking of apps, I feel like there's an app for everything nowadays. Like you can get an app to track your work and your schedules, and you can get an app to, I don't know, open things and turn lights on,
Yeah.
and like you can get apps to
Start your dishwasher.
start your dishwasher and stuff like that. Um, I think it would be nice to have an app that is a catch-all for other apps because I have organized my phone in such a way that it is like aesthetic looking.
Okay.
Everything is a little like color coordinated and not necessarily like coordinated by function,
Okay.
which is totally my fault.
That's
That's
funny.
on me, we'll say. But it would be nice to have an app that organizes stuff and kind of shows you your utility and then
Oh,
will like you're not using this, get rid of it.
right.
Because with the storage these days, I
It's
just
true.
don't get rid of stuff.
That makes
And
sense.
also, oh, I'm just thinking about the storage. A storage thing that deletes your duplicate pictures.
Wow.
Because I am that kind of person that will take a ton of pictures at once because I'm like, one of these has got to be good out of
Right.
the 20 that I took.
Yeah.
And then I don't really go through them. And then they just kind of sit there.
Mm-hmm.
So, something that recognizes your usage patterns for maybe apps, maybe also pictures,
Yeah.
and then gets rid of things that you're not using or alerts you to them so that you can get rid of
Mm.
them. And then you can have like authorized control. Honestly, that's pretty technical. I'm sure that exists too.
Yeah.
That feels like something that exists.
Yeah.
But
Well, do
Something
you
that would
not get
help.
like unused app notifications on your phone?
No, I have an
Wow.
iPhone, so that's probably
I'm just
why.
saying that's probably why. Because I get unused app notifications and they will put my apps into a deep sleep for like 6 months. And then if I don't use them after they've been in deep sleep, it'll ask me if they want to be uninstalled.
Yeah, right now how I have it is it will offload them
Hmm.
and like basically I have to re-download them if I want them, but they still exist on my
Interesting.
phone
Interesting.
as an icon.
Yeah.
But you have to click on them and then it takes a second for it to re-download and then you can use it, which is more for storage saving than anything.
Makes
But I
sense.
wish they had that for pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be
maybe they do.
cool. That would be cool.
I just have too many duplicate pictures, and that's just the fault of being someone who has so much storage and can take a ridiculous amount of pictures. So they do.
No, that's super fair. That's super
Yeah.
duper fair. Nice. Okay.
So, in
I
terms
like
of
it.
apps, that makes sense to me. What about in terms of like thing? Like, what one little invention would improve your life?
Yeah. That's a great question.
I have one that comes to mind that I know exists already,
Okay.
but I am going to commend it and then maybe build on top of it. So, one thing that I've been trying to do this year is improve the amount of goodness that I am at cooking
Hmm.
and also use what I have already. I'm really bad at looking at a pantry of stuff and being like, okay, how does this stuff now go together and how do I make
Mm,
it good and like somewhat nutritious
that makes
and all
sense.
of that stuff. So there are some apps and some websites that will like enter these things and will tell you what you can make. So I need like a guide for dummies
Nice.
that will say like this combination of spices will get you something that's gonna feel Italian or like Asian or
Oh,
whatever. And I need some like
interesting.
catch-all sauces and stuff.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of like that because you get some weird results sometimes
Okay.
when you put just these random ingredients in
Right.
because they're not always accounting for all of the spices and seasonings you
Right.
have. But some sauces will just make a dish. If you have noodles and you can make a really good sauce, that'll change everything.
It's true.
And you can
Well,
make
and
them
what
Asian
kind of
noodles,
sauce is it?
Italian
Exactly.
noodles. Like there's a lot of different noodle
It's a very good
styles.
point.
And so if you could have some of those on hand, that would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, it
Wow.
makes things taste better
I
and
love that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. What do I
Guidebook
want?
for dummies.
Yep.
Those exist.
For spices, but for yeah, for spicing and things like that.
Well, it's
Hmm.
hard thinking of things that haven't already been made completely, so I feel like I'm just trying to build off of other people's million-dollar ideas.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you know what I want? Ugh, this
What?
I want it to be $1 million idea because mostly I that would mean that other people were doing this. But I famously have really terrible posture. And I
Ooh,
think that that's just like a standard for a lot of people these days. All of our heads are kind of drifting forward a little bit and
we're
down.
evolving in a weird way.
Yeah, and so, that's not cute. Like, people take candid photos of me from the side or from behind, and I'm like,
And like,
girl, gross. So, if someone could invent, like, a cute, like, posture correcting fashion brace, for a little while, people were into wearing, like, harnesses. Not like harnesses, harnesses. Do you know what I
But
mean?
yeah,
Like, over, like, a dress shirt. Some of
yeah,
the celebs were doing it.
yeah, it was trendy for a little bit.
Yeah, if we could just have like a slightly more intense fashion movement of all of us wearing things that would be ergonomic for our backs and adjusting for our necks, I think that would be killer.
That would be so. I mean, like I've seen you wear some posture like correctors before,
Yeah.
and honestly, the older we're getting, the more I'm noticing that like my posture is not good. And it's also
Yeah.
not improving because I'm not making an effort for it to improve.
Right.
And that's because like day to day, it's just not a priority. I'm like, I gotta do this thing or I'm
Right.
focused on this. I'll worry about posture later. But
Exactly.
if it was stylish and
Exactly.
integrated in my stuff,
Well, and
I
it's like
might.
I would wear my posture correcting brace because it like is it kind of annoying to have it on? Yes. But do I feel like I am standing better when I do have it on? Also, yes. But do I feel like I look stupid? Also,
Also,
yes.
yes,
If it
yeah.
was cute, though,
Then maybe it'd be a different
there'd be
story.
two pros and only one con
Yeah,
instead of one pro and two cons, which,
which you know,
I'm
it's
not wearing it.
basic math.
Yeah,
Basic
it's
math.
true. Two's better than one.
Two is greater than one.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's better when it's two good
Positive.
things.
Good one. Good one.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, but that's a huge one, I would say.
Yeah, I really like something that helps me with my plants. I've been a planty girl for the past little bit,
Very
and
true.
my plants have just been suffering a bit in Washington to begin with. They were used to nice, sunny, warm Arizona. Even interior or indoor plants in Arizona are getting a lot more lights than my Seattle plants are. And so I would like something that is way better at tracking their health and like what they need
Hmm.
besides just me and knowing and trying because sometimes plants just die. I'm wondering how I can make them look better and happier year round. I'm like, it's just the typical stuff of water, sunlight, fertilizer, and things.
Right.
But like wind, something that would remind me to do that. And
Mm.
maybe it's plant specific because you can't just, like, all plants aren't created equally. Sometimes they need more sunlight, sometimes they need less, sometimes they need
True.
fertilizer this time of year. And so something that would do that would be very helpful as I'm sitting and staring at my plants. They don't look so bad right now. They're actually in their growing season right now because
Oh,
it's spring.
that makes
So a
sense.
lot of them are getting new leaves, which is exciting.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very, very nice.
yeah.
Other idea that I had when we were coming up with this for the pod, it's not really a thing per se as like a software, which I was like, I could be the one to do this because I took a lot of math courses.
You did.
I'm not good at coding, but I feel like conceptually I could come up with a good enough plan to have someone else code it. But
It's
I'm
called the
gonna
business
get
partner.
I'm gonna get a little nerdy up in this for a little bit, but I promise it's tangible and so me. Okay,
Cool. I'm with you.
so there's basically, I think this is like a universal term, but it might just be people that I've been following on Instagram lately. But there's this idea that like all clothing has at its like base foundation come from, if it's not being draped, mind you, there's two different ways of making clothes. You can like drape it on a body or a mannequin, and then just like the way it falls, you pin it in, cut it, and put it together, right?
Cool.
Or it's blocking, which is like more structural, which is more of our like mass produced clothes.
Makes sense.
Right, exactly. And so blocking's basically like you do some math to figure out how to make the thing that is a curved body that size be flat, and then figure out how to take that flat thing to go back into a curved garment and it curves in the ways that you want it to. So maybe it's like very close fit to the body, maybe it's billowing away, maybe it has ruffles, maybe it has flare, whatever, whatever. But yeah, so like the thing that is generally like close fit to the body, but not, it's not a corset, it's not squeezing the body or anyway, that basic shape is called a master block.
Mm.
And so I think it'd be really cool if someone somewhere could make a computer program that would create for you your master block with your
Oh,
measurements put in. You know?
that's cool. Yeah.
Right? So it's like the distance from my hips to my waist is, 4 inches, and my waist around is like XYZ inches, and then the bust measurement is XYZ inches. And like some people have a longer distance of like base of neck to top of like pant,
Mm-hmm.
like their
Mm-hmm.
torso is longer. Some people have it be shorter and stuff like that. So I think it'd be really cool if someone could like map out where all of these different points would be, like distances would be on a master block, and then like be able to type that into a program, and it would like sliding rule scale like
Yeah,
change the measurements.
parametric, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And then make all of those connections for you. And you could have just like a computer generated master block. And then, if you wanted to get more into it, maybe pay a higher fee if this is like, some sort of money grab.
Paywalls, paywalls.
Exactly. It's like, okay, if you want to be able to customize this master block to be a garment that has like a more exciting fit, you can pay for this amount of money and say, okay, I want it to be, you know, a long shirt. So I'm going to say that, like, make the length of the thing 4 inches past my hips and I want it to flare out by 6 inches, or I have enough ribbon to have a belt be XYZ. And I think it'd be really cool, but I have no idea how it would happen. So I'm speaking it into the world. Someone make this. Make it for me and I will use it and be happy.
That sounds so fun. It also sounds like so you.
Right?
I do think, I mean, we have parametric stuff in a lot of modeling, and like we have it for architecture, landscape architecture. A lot of it's visual coding.
Mm,
I don't know if you've seen that. It's like with the strings and stuff. We use Grasshopper, but I feel like I've seen it for fashion as well. Like I've seen it for
interesting.
garments. It might be the draping though. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure. I
Okay.
should look it up though and try to
You
find
should.
it.
That'd be really fun.
Also, while you're talking, completely different topic related to $1 million idea, but a good $1 million idea, I
Okay.
think.
Perfect.
Okay, so it's related to food and it goes back to wanting good food, not wanting to pay a lot of money, but also not wanting to cook it yourself.
Mm.
So, hear me out. A restaurant that serves whatever menu,
Mm-hmm.
but you pick the item and then you say how much money you want to spend, and they will give you a portion size based on how much money you say you want to spend.
Interesting.
So you say, okay, I just want a quick snack, and this looks good. I've got like $5 on me. How much of this are you going to give me?
Right.
And then they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And like different things will also be more. Maybe it'd be like a weight thing. I feel like that's the most likely
Okay.
way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I want it to still be like a decent meal.
Right.
Like I don't want it to be a buffet style or
Right.
something like that. I want someone still to make my dinner and to feel like it's like a thing you're going to. So
Right.
it's still a restaurant experience, but you get to pay like what you want to do. Like a kind
Yeah.
of a sliding scale, but
Right.
yeah.
What does a $20 steak look like as
Mhm.
opposed to like a $40 steak?
Is it like, are you changing in quality or are you changing in quantity?
That's a
So
good
is it like
question.
really low quality stuff, but you're still getting the same amount? Or is it normal, like higher quality stuff, but it's just the amount? Like you're getting like a third of a steak.
Right. That's funny.
But something like that. I think could be interesting.
Maybe.
You'd have to separate it out by type of food. Like I don't think it could be a catch-all. Like we serve Italian and we serve
Right.
Mexican and we serve whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that'd be too many things to keep track
I
of.
think you're right.
But I think you could have one that does a certain it specializes in so many different dishes, and those dishes can easily be parsed out in different portion sizes.
Right.
Also would help if you're like, I don't want to eat this much, or I am only looking to or I'm looking to have a huge meal or
Right.
something. I'm
Yeah.
starving.
Yeah.
So
Portion sizing at restaurants is always so hard too, because you're like, I don't know how much I'm going to get, and also in a lot of ways, like, you don't have a way of saving this extra food.
yeah.
And then you feel guilty and you don't want to, like,
And then you overeat because you're
right.
like, I don't want to leave this, I don't want to waste it,
Exactly.
all
Yeah,
of that stuff.
it's true.
But yeah, I don't know why. I was like thinking about this and I was like, wait, Kira, this is a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Does it already exist? Let us know.
Maybe.
I just also often want to eat out and
Yeah.
don't want to spend that much money,
Right.
especially because it's really expensive in Seattle to
Yeah.
eat out. I feel like every time I eat out, it's like, okay, that's $20.
Yep.
That's $20.
True.
Maybe it's 30.
Yeah.
Hopefully not,
If you
but
want to
maybe.
have a drink, then it is, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
for sure.
So that would be a great way to be able to still eat out and have that experience. And you can still tip and everything. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like if you're in a restaurant, you're still doing all of the normal tipping that would
Yeah.
happen. That's usually customary in America, but it's just on a much more like feasible scale. Like
Yeah.
20% of $20 is a lot different than 20% on $5.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. That's super fun. I think that's great. Hmm.
Now you're like thinking about like
Hmm.
the
Well, it's
feasibility.
like, it would be really easy to do stuff that is small.
Yeah.
Like, so dumplings or,
Yeah.
like pre-tiny portion
Hmm.
coming together to be a larger portion
Yeah.
type of
Well,
thing.
like they have tapas.
Yeah,
Tapas are
true.
like common, and then you're
Yeah.
getting a mix and match of
Right.
sorts. Yeah.
I like tapas. They're always
Right.
expensive. Like, you
Yeah.
can never find cheap tapas. They're always
Each individual
good.
plate is like expensive. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're always good. And like I feel like that when I have gotten tapas, they're like prepared meticulously or difficult to make or like whatever. Like it's nice food, so it's supposed to be expensive, but there's nobody out there that just has cheap tapas.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
true. Oh, as a side note for this, I do still think there should be like a spending minimum. Like,
Mm.
if you're coming in and you're saying, I only want to spend $1, that feels a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
If they're like serving you and like bringing you, like, if you actually have a server, I feel like the minimum should be like $5 or
I think
something.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're taking up space.
You're taking up space, and I guess it's also kind of like a hangout spot then. You'd want a lot of space where people could just be. Maybe you're ordering something on one of those little tablets instead of a person, because then
Mm.
they're not having to keep track of it and you can
Right.
stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
like that. I
It's a
like that.
concept. It's a concept. It's a working idea.
Yeah.
I'm not quite to
I think
all
it's
of the
fun.
nuances.
I think it's fun.
But I would hang out there for sure.
I would
And it
totally
would be a
hang.
good place to like snack throughout the day if you were
Right.
doing work for a long time.
I honestly, that's what I was gonna say
Yeah.
next, is I need a place that I can go to and work in that has food but isn't a restaurant. Like I want it to be like a dining hall. Like you can go and you can hang out and work, and like if you decide you want to get food, that's fine, but you don't have to feel obligated to get food, you know? That's what
Yeah.
I want. Like, you go to a coffee shop with friends, like,
Mhm.
that's super great, but
You have to
usually
get a
everybody gets
coffee.
a coffee. Like,
Mhm.
you kind of feel like you need to,
Yeah,
because
because
you're
you're like
taking up
paying
space.
for the space.
Yeah, but like, I want to be in a space and I want to be like, maybe I want to get a muffin, but I'm gonna like be here for 5 hours, so I'll get a muffin now, and then maybe I'll get something at like the end of the day or something when
Mhm.
I'm like finishing up my work.
Yeah, it's a little treat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice.
So that's my $1 million idea right on the spot.
I love it.
Have you thought of anything while I was talking?
I mean that sort of like third. Well, because when you were talking, I was kind of thinking about like third places and things
Mm,
like that. Where it's like we need places to gather that aren't stuck behind spending money.
yeah, literally physical paywalls. We
Yeah.
always talk and think about digital paywalls. You see it for like the New York Times
Right.
and like articles and things like that and online. And those are obviously digital paywalls, but physical paywalls,
It's true.
people should just be able to hang out all the time. Like,
Right.
we're all obligated to want to move out of the spaces that we're in. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, nobody wants to be in the same place all the time. Outdoor spaces are great because those are, you got public parks and things.
I was just about to bring
But
that up.
sometimes it's not nice outside.
It's true.
Sometimes you don't want to be outside. I don't know.
Right.
And so it'd be interesting to really up what a public space looks like indoors. There's
Mm-hmm.
community centers, there's libraries,
Yeah.
there's spaces like that, but I don't think there's very many spaces that you can just like hang out that
Right.
aren't rec centers. And even rec centers are stuck behind paywalls.
It's true. Well, and libraries have a pretty well-known like you need to
Etiquette.
be, yeah, quiet and like
Yeah.
respectful and blah. There's no like raucous whatever events or things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Just spaces, and community centers also do feel like a bit more.
it doesn't feel like you can really
structured.
walk into a community center and just
Right.
hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it feels
feels like
like
there needs to be an event.
events for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, people should design indoor spaces just as well as outdoor spaces. But I think it's really hard logistically. This is going to make sense for me. But logistically, in the government and how they run all of their civic spaces, like they have a Parks and Rec department.
Right.
They don't have like an indoor civic space department.
No, it's true. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. But it'd be interesting to have those because you could maintain them just as well as you could maintain outdoor spaces.
Right.
Yeah. And I think sometimes like malls can maybe fall into that because they're a little bit higher energy
I can see that.
and you don't necessarily have to buy anything. You can kind of walk in and out of stores.
Yeah.
But the difficulty with malls is brick and mortar stores in that capacity really aren't like
Dying
popular. They're
out.
definitely dying out. And so those spaces are kind of going away too. I wonder if there's a world in which these kind of pocket indoor parks
Yeah.
exist.
I love that. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I think that's super cute. I think you're right with the malls being a place where people could go. And I would raise you as well, like piers. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like any place that's like a large collection of just walk around it
yeah.
feels like that could be a third place. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never, obviously, we grew up in a landlocked state, and I always enjoyed seeing media where it was like, after school everyone goes down to the beach and
And
they
just
hang
hang.
out at the pier,
So
and
fun.
and you might get a Slurpee from the like lemonade stand or something like that, or
Oh,
go to
for
the
sure.
arcade, but you can also just all hang out like in a space, in a outdoor space again. But yeah, I don't know. Pocket community spaces
Pocket community
might
spaces
not make $1 million, might cost $1 million.
might cost several million
Yeah.
dollars, but I would be willing to be a conceptor for that. So if any local governments want me to expand on the idea, I got plenty. I'm not an architect, but I'm training to be a landscape architect. You could hire me.
You could.
Thank
I
you.
think that you should hire Kira, and then I'll write a paper about how it's, making everybody's lives better.
Yeah. We're like a team. You should hire both of us.
Yeah, I'm in there. I'm in the contract. Don't worry about it.
We'll write you in.
Thanks.
Yeah. As I'm getting into like working, I'm gonna graduate in June. I mentioned this last time that I have my final presentation at the end of this month for capstone thesis, so that feels really big. And then we have all of the writing and stuff due at the end of May slash very beginning of June. So things are coming up really fast. And looking to the future, I'm like, somebody should make starting your first job a little bit easier.
Yeah.
That transition of going from school to work is hard. I'm sure we've done it, we've experienced it a bit in the summer,
Hmm.
obviously with internships and stuff, but there needs to be more widespread knowledge of how to actually start changing like phases of life
Yeah.
because nobody really tells you how to do that. There are specific things where like, look it, now you know how to change a tire, or this is how you open a new banking account, or
Get a credit card.
this is how you pay rent on time, whatever. But changing phases of lives is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. It's really hard, and it's shocking. Like, not only are you having to get a lot of new skills and answer a lot of questions, but it's like a big change most of the time. Like, if you're moving, not only are you having to like adjust to being in a new place, but you also need to be answering questions of like, what kind of internet do you want to have?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what like number of roommates, what rent are you looking for, what neighborhood, what type of house, what like, I don't know, amenities,
Yeah.
making the decision on like different power companies if you own the home, and like, are you gonna
Yeah.
pay for a recycling service to come by and pick up your
Yeah.
stuff? Do you like need to go buy a lawnmower, or do you just hope that someone down the block has a teenager and, you know.
Well, that makes me think that there should be some sort of crowdsourcing. I think there's the classic Reddit. Everyone asks questions on Reddit and
Yeah,
hopes they get answered
that's so
in
true.
some capacity that is real. There's also like a neighborhood or
Next
next
door. But
door.
next door has kind of turned into a way for a lot of people to complain about different
Exactly.
things in neighborhoods.
And so there needs to be some sort of very quick like crowdsourcing and polling.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that's multiple choice. Like when you enter a neighborhood, you have to fill out these things.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
and like then this is your 3 month review of being in the neighborhood.
Oh,
And
thank
then
you,
everybody
Queen.
can see it.
Right.
And then it's actually crowdsourced instead of just being like, some standout voices.
Right.
And then you can get that when you're moving different places. It could be this really cool network.
Yeah.
And they have good
That would be
recommendations.
nice.
Yeah, because word of mouth is great.
Right.
And so is like doing your research and your due diligence, but it feels like a lot. We're just rattling adulthood.
It's true. Well, and it's like not a lot of people are offering their experiences as much anymore, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like. Because things have changed so quickly recently, too, that their experience isn't going to be as applicable to our
Yeah,
lives,
yeah,
you
as
know?
relevant. Are we just advocating for influencers right now?
I don't know.
I
I'm a little
was
confused.
I was trying to look up, whenever you have any small health thing, you're like, I have a cough, or like, my nose is sniffly. I gotta check WebMD or something.
Yeah,
Um, it's really helpful though if somebody is talking to you face to face and they're like, yeah, I had this and this,
right.
and that led me to this and made me find out this.
So
And
true.
I think being sick is probably not the best example of that. But if you notice there's something happening in your life, I'm at a loss for words of what would be a good example of this right now.
Yeah.
But you like are noticing that something is awry and then can find someone that has a similar experience that is actually talking to you face to face,
Yeah.
even if it's not real time they're sharing their experience, that's awesome.
Right.
And that's where I see like the value of quote influencers
Yeah.
more than like, look, I'm pretty and I'm on a beach.
Oh,
Cool. I'm awesome. It's
well,
like, hey,
yeah.
I've had this life experience and nobody taught me about this, and this is how I learned this lesson.
I think that in a lot of ways, like minor sexualities, like not minor, but like less well known,
Yeah.
like sexualities, like finding an influencer who's talking about their experience, especially if they're like people aren't in the media, is like super eye opening and useful.
Hmm.
I like what am I trying to think of? The TV series Heartstopper,
Yeah.
great TV series. In the TV series, one of the characters like ends up finding a couple different influencers on the internet that he watches videos of and is able to kind of like feel like he's not the only one feeling these things kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, I don't know. I definitely think that there's a place for influencers in that realm specifically.
I just like crowdsourced information more than like reading stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I can feel like someone's actually had this lived experience, it makes me much more likely to choose that solution rather than to just read about a solution that might work.
Mhm.
Because there's a difference between like a statistical probability versus like this is what happened, and though there are these things, this is what I found works. This is like pro con of it.
Right.
Make your own decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So something that does that. Can we streamline this service?
I don't know. I don't know. I will say though that you have almost precisely explained the two different research paradigm views in communication studies, because it's are you like prioritizing the generalizability of something,
Hmm.
or are you wanting to look at the nuance of a specific story and a specific person?
Quantifiable and qualifiable.
I don't know if
Yeah, I
fiable's
know.
good.
It's quantitative and
Qualitative.
but
Yes,
I was trying
exactly.
to make it into a different type of
I
word.
loved the way you said it, and I think that it should work.
But you get what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
got there.
we all knew.
It
We
got
all
there.
knew.
And that's just how research works in general. But, and
Yeah.
maybe that's a personal preference. Stats, I think, are really great for generalizability, but on a personal level, I want something that's qualitative. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, no, that's so fair. I completely agree in some ways, and sometimes I just love some numbers, you know. I just want someone to tell me it's like, 60% of the people your age are also feeling this way. Thank God.
Yeah.
Okay. That feels good. Now, if that number's going the wrong direction where it's like only 10% of the people you know are feeling this way, it's
Yeah.
like, okay,
But then it just needs
that's
one person to
fine.
share their experience.
Right. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, nice. Okay. I've
Somebody
got
else is
someone.
going through that.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
we're getting definitely to the end of our episode, and we kind of went on a couple little tangents, but still general things that could have solutions to them and that somebody else should find $1 million idea
Right.
for. We
Yes.
gave you the prompt, now you answer it.
Thank you.
In
Thank you.
terms of crowdsourcing information and also food accessibility and public space.
Yes.
So all big things. We're talking about big topics right
Huge.
now.
And fashion, which
And
is
fashion.
like so important. If
But
everyone made their own clothes out of the already made textiles that we have, we could reduce so much strain on our environment.
it's so
The
true.
fashion and textile industry is one of the biggest pollutants of our world. So, I don't know, shop sustainably, wear clothes that you already own, do
Do
clothing
clothing swaps.
swaps.
Yes. Clothing
Totally.
swaps.
Totally do it. Look into upcycling.
That's what we need. A clothing swap app.
Dude,
Clothing
dude,
swap app.
yeah, like buy
Hmm.
nothing but only clothes, and it's like actually cute.
And filterable.
Yeah,
I think that's something that's really hard with buy nothing clothes is like take this whole bag of clothes.
right.
I want you to take all of it. Yeah. And then who knows where it goes. I'm glad it's going back into the community, but yeah,
Yeah,
an app for it and then it would be by community.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because you
because
want
you
to
don't
be
want to
able to
ship
yeah,
stuff.
that kind of
Yeah.
defeats some of the purpose.
I'm on an app right now. I'll wrap it up fast. I'm on an app right now that you post handmade items on that don't fit you anymore.
That's cool.
Or that like you made and you just don't really like the look of it, and so you can't buy, you can't sell. Or they might have updated it now, but originally you couldn't buy or couldn't sell anything. It was only trading.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Right? But that's like kind of hard too though, because I didn't really have anything that I wanted to trade with
Yeah, you
someone.
just like I kind of want
But I do want that
handcrafted thing.
sweater because
Yeah.
I don't know how to knit. And that's a cool sweater. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like clothing swaps, but like you could also do like gifts
Yeah.
slash
Well,
like
maybe you like can post like if it's a trade, you mark it as a trade. If
right.
it's a gift, you mark it as a gift.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that would be great.
And
I
there's
think that would
different
be great.
categories.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is
I think it'd be fun.
fun.
Hey,
Yeah.
you heard it here, folks.
You heard it here
Folks.
first.
Yep.
Clothing swap app.
Yep. Get on there.
We're gonna make some apps, I guess.
We're gonna go into app development. We do know someone who wants to do user interfacing.
There's a ton of computer scientists in Seattle too.
Totally.
We could get one of them.
We got this. Okay. TM or a little
Trademark.
R in a circle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This entire episode.
Yeah. This is our
So,
these are our
This is our
ideas.
intellectual property.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We've been rambling on and on and on for a little bit now, but hopefully you enjoyed some part of this episode. Do you have any $1 million ideas that you're willing to share and we will not steal from you? The world will not steal from you? If you do, you should share them. We have tried our best to come up with some on the spot, some we've been thinking about for a while, and some that we really think would make the world a better place or our lives just a little bit easier. So if you have any, you should comment them down in our little questionnaire that we're gonna be putting up.
Well, you should comment down below because we post our episodes every Wednesday to YouTube and Spotify. We have an Instagram. I made a post on it. I will
I
say,
saw that.
not a very Let's see.
Aesthetic post?
Aesthetic post, but it was exactly what I promised you, and I did have 2 people tell me that they also had played that game.
Yeah, I
So
saw the comments.
it was not a fever dream. I am very pleased with my crowdsourcing that happened on an app. Callback. But yeah, listen to our episodes, share them with someone who you think could enjoy an indoor community space or
Oh my God.
eat food.
You know what? If you've made it to this point in the podcast, we're just happy you're here. This one was kind of a rambly one, I'm not gonna lie.
This one was episode 28. We'll see you next time on
Arguably speaking, episode 29. Bye!
Bye.